Hello, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is the moment of truth, my friends. We are going to find out if my garlic crop was successful or was it a flop. So we are going to dig up this beautiful, what I hope, fingers crossed, is going to be a beautiful bounty of garlic. So you were with me in the fall. It was probably, I don't know, 8 months ago when I planted this garlic. Today's the day. We're going to harvest it. What do we think? Yay or nay? We'll find out. I have grown garlic once or twice in my life. It has been a long time. So this fall when I planted this stiff-neck, hardneck variety, this is Music, an organic, extra German hardy blend of variety of garlic. And so planted it in our raised boxes, and we have to wait. So today is the moment of truth where we are going to go ahead and harvest this babies. We know it is about the time to harvest because if you will notice that those lower leaves on the garlic, they are brown, they are shriveled up, they are falling off. However, I still have my top couple of leaves are nice and green and my stems are not floppy. The plant has not completely died back yet and it is nice and green up top. Also, you will notice because this is that hardneck, stiff neck variety, I had my garlic scapes. So a couple of weeks ago, I went ahead and cut those off. Basically what a scape is going to be the flower. So we cut that off so that all that energy does not go into the flower, but it comes back down and goes into producing big, massive, beautiful heads of garlic. You can eat the garlic scapes. I hear that they are delicious. Honestly, y'all, life was lifing at the time, and so I just snipped them off and put them in the compost pile. So what we're going to do is I have 3 different tools. We're going to find out which one is the best one because you're not going to want to grab the garlic and pull. We want to actually dig it up. So I'm not sure which tool I'm going to want to use or find the easiest, but I have like a little garden rake, shovel, trowel, whatever you want to call it. Then I have, let's see, get out of here in the sun. I have my Cobra, which I love, so we can go underneath, go down and underneath the garlic and lift it up. So I've got that. And then, of course, my trusty Hori Hori. So we will see which one actually kind of works the easiest for me. But we're going to get in there and dig down, lift them up, and then let's see. Let's see if it was successful. I'm really hoping it is. I have high hopes. So here we go. Alrighty, my friends, here we go. The moment of truth. So putting on the gloves. Here we go. That is the thing about garlic. Garlic is going to be that crop that is going to teach you massive patience because you can't really like dig it up and see how they're doing and then replant them. You just have to say a prayer over them and hope that they are growing well, and you can do your part. So here we go. And let me tell you, they are rooted in here. Lifting it up. Basically, it's like whenever you dig up a plant. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Moment of truth. There we go, my friends. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful garlic. I think we're very successful. Yes. So we're going to brush all the soil off. I have a little tub right here. So we're just going to drop this one in the tub. We're not going to do anything to it. We're not cutting anything off. We're just leaving it exactly how it is, brushing that extra soil, putting it back into the raised bed. When we're harvesting garlic, don't cut it, don't wash it. We'll talk about that later. Just know we don't do that. All right, let's go for the next one. That is right here. I'm telling you, they got some good roots. And of course, you want to be careful that you don't stick your digging device, whatever it is that you choose to use. You don't want to puncture the head of the garlic because that kind of defeats the whole point. Oh my God. Y'all, look at this one. Look at those roots. Good grannies. So we're just gonna shake off all that soil. Oh my gosh. I think I need to go into garlic growing. Look at that. Oh, and just to get a reference for my, the size of your hand, that is a massive, massive clove head. I'm sure the cloves are big too. All right, we're gonna dig all these up. Hopefully they will be uniform in size. So we're just gonna dig everybody up. I'm gonna fill up my tub and then put them in the back of Johnny. Then once everybody is dug up, then we're gonna see maybe who is the biggest. Are they more uniform? Who knows? We'll find out. Gonna get these babies harvested. I honestly could not be happier with this harvest, y'all. These are some beautiful heads of garlic. For the most part, they are very, very uniform and quite large. I mean, this thing like fits into my fist. It is just unbelievable. These are probably some of my biggest ones up here around the top. And then I do have a couple that are, they're definitely smaller, but that is all right. I did notice that the smaller ones were the ones that were not necessarily right on an emitter, not really close to the drip line. So that just tells me in order to get that more uniform harvest that I need to make sure that everybody is getting the same amount of water and adequate water. So step one of the harvest is complete, getting them out of the boxes. I will say that I personally love gardening in these raised beds. Physically, it's easier because you're not having to bend over and stoop down. It is all right there at standing level. Turns out that I did like using my Cobra the best as far as the tool because I could get in there and get underneath the head. And so if the head was right there, and then I could pull up. So that worked really, really well. It wasn't so much as the digging. This little tool is about the best thing ever. You can use it for so many things, weeding, doing little rows when you're direct sowing, but just sticking it in there, going underneath the head of the garlic and then pulling up worked absolute wonders. So Cobra for the win on harvesting garlic. And then also there's basically no weeds in the raised bed. You absolutely can grow garlic in the landscape. I mean, hello, yes, that's the normal way to do it. But if you're gonna have it in the landscape, obviously you're gonna have to make sure that you keep the weeds out because you don't want that competition for the water and of course the nutrients. So having it in the raised bed was fantastic. Garlic does love to have really kind of rich soil. So again, having it in the raised bed makes it really, really easy to amend because we have got fantastic, very tilthy, very loose soil in there, compost in there, of course, the biotone starter fertilizer with them. And so, and being on that drip irrigation. The drip irrigation did not start until this spring when the rains stopped. In the winter, obviously, I'm not running irrigation, so it was more in the spring when the temperatures were rising. But Garlic most definitely is going to teach us patience. One, because we plant those little tiny little cloves in the fall, hoping and praying that they will turn into these big, beautiful heads, 8 months later. Now, the patience must continue because you can't eat the garlic right now. It's got to dry. So we're going to actually go up to my parents' house, to their old barn. Let me show you step number 2 of harvesting the garlic. Step number 2 of harvesting garlic is that you must allow the garlic to cure. It's got to dry out. Typically, that can take anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks and beyond. The longer the garlic cures, the sweeter and the more the flavors develop. So the garlic that we eat in 6 weeks is going to taste very different than the garlic we eat, say, in August and September, because the flavors have been allowed to develop. So we are here at on my parents' property, the old barn, and my daddy was a pig farmer when I was growing up. So this was a functioning barn that held hogs, doesn't do pigs anymore. And so this is kind of like a storage space right now. Not a lot of stuff is in there. So I texted Mama this morning. I was like, hey, do you mind if I hang some garlic in your barn? And she was like, absolutely not, because what we need to do is, when we are finding that space to cure our garlic, we need it to be in the shade. We need it to be in a dry, well-ventilated area, not in any kind of direct sun. And hanging is preferable because the air can get all around the cloves. I could put this in my garage. I could put this in the retail barn at the nursery. But the thing is, this is garlic. And garlic has, personally, love the odor, fragrance of garlic. But I really don't want that all in my garage, nor do we probably want that at the retail barn. So that is why Mama and Daddy were very gracious and allowed me to use their barn for the circulation. Don't really have to worry about the critters eating it because it's garlic, and they don't really enjoy eating garlic. So it's kind of naturally rodent resistant. So what we're going to do with the stiff neck garlic, which is what I have, stiff neck, hard neck, it gets its name, y'all, because it's very stiff, right? You've got a hard stem on this garlic. And so we're basically going to get it and bunch up the garlic. Notice that I'm trying to go ahead and stagger them. They're not all going to be at the same level. We're going to move them around a little bit. That way they get lots of airflow in there. So far I've got 2, 4, 6. Maybe we could get 10. That might be a little bit big. 7 or 8 in there, I think, would do well. And so we're just going to get them together, hold them up, and then we are going to use some jute twine that I have to cinch them up here, leave a long string so that way I can hang them from nails or rafters in the barn. Now, the difference between stiff neck, hard neck, and soft neck garlic, there's a couple of differences. Obviously, number 1 is going to be soft neck versus hard neck. There we go. And so with the soft neck garlic, this is the garlic that can actually be braided. You're not going to be able to braid the stiff neck just because it is so tough, and so we can't do that. So if you've ever seen in, I don't know, like a gourmet Italian restaurant or a gourmet Italian grocery store or on movies or whatever, where they have the garlic all braided and it's beautiful together. It's not what we're doing here with the stiff neck. So we're just going to tie it together, and then we're going to leave a long stem string on the jute, because I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be able to hang this. So I'm going to leave extra long pieces on there. So obviously you have that difference in the stems of the garlic, right? So this way we can hang it up just like that, and it can just hang and it can dry. Right now the breeze is coming, gets all around it. Also, with your hardneck garlic, this is where you're going to have really big, large outer cloves. So if you go to the grocery store, whenever you have a garlic head, and sometimes you have big, huge cloves that are on the outside, and you don't really have any of the small ones on the inside, that's your hardneck. When you have, smaller, I'm not saying small, but smaller cloves on the outside and on the inside, like the little tiny ones, the ones that personally drive me crazy because I can't use them because they're so tiny, that's going to be your soft neck. So basically you're just going to, whichever one that you prefer to use, then that's the one we're going to go for. The hard neck is going to have a nice long shelf life on it, and so we can use it for a long time. 38 heads is what I got. So if I use a head per week, which I can easily do in my house, there we go, last me for 38 weeks. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm going to string all of these up, and then we're going to go to the barn and hang them in the barn. Okay, my friends, so the garlic is hung, and now basically I'm gonna wait a month. I'm gonna put it on my phone 1 month from today and say time to harvest the garlic. So what we will do at that point is then you can go ahead and clean it up. You can cut off all of the dried foliage at the top. You can take off all of the dry, crispy roots at that time, clean it up, get all of the dirt off, and then store it in a nice cool, dry space so that we can eat it and enjoy it for the months to come. Interesting thing about garlic too is I will go ahead and save some of the biggest heads, and then I will replant those come this fall. So garlic kind of starts to begin to adapt to your soil and the conditions. Over time, if you keep planting your same garlic over and over again, you're going to get a very unique strain flavors in that garlic than say if my mama did it here up in her clay soil. So that's really something that's fun and neat. I personally ordered my garlic from Johnny's Select Seeds. You can do, go anywhere that you can buy seeds really, and you can order garlic. Typically, they're not going to send it to you until it is time to plant, which is the fall. Would not encourage you to do the ones from the grocery store because who knows what kind of variety it is, and typically your success rates are not very good. So go ahead and go to a seed company and buy garlic. It is super easy, but it definitely teaches you patience. Could not be happier with the success of this crop of garlic. It is so fun, and I'm very appreciative that I can come up here to Mama and Daddy's barn. It's fun. I grew up playing in this barn. This barn was built when I was 5, 1982, so I would have been like 4 or 5 when this was built. I have so many fond memories being in this barn and playing up in the loft. It is kind of, like I said, turned into a bit of a little storage unit. Grateful for that because I can use it to hang my garlic. But in front of the barn, Daddy has his grapevines that he is growing. So he has gotten into all sorts of fun things in his retirement. You know, you just can't take the farmer out of him. He has the most fun, and we benefit from it because we get to partake in his harvest. I too will share the garlic with my mama and my daddy. So if you ever get a chance to plant garlic, I would highly encourage you to do it, especially in the fall. So easy. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.